Hey guys, and welcome back to another NRL Fantasy Fanatics video. Or about a week, no less, a few days out from
6 days.
first NRL TLT. And tonight we got another team reveal for you, 3 days out from TLT. As always, joined by Will here. How's it going, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good, good, good. So as I just said, team reveal. We're doing both our teams, and we're starting off with Will's here. Take us through it, Will, to start up top to bottom.
Yeah, so I've got Peter Mamazoulis, who probably won't be my starting hooker if Aaron Clark is to get that starting spot, which is predicted by the NRL there. Terrell May, Isaiah Yeo, and Kobe, I really like. Kobe will probably be off the bench with Connor coming in if um Aaron doesn't get that role, and I'll move Aaron up to hooker there. But really like what Kobe did, looked good on the weekend, good defensive work there, got a 47-ish points. If he can get the minute, he'll score well. I think Terrell and Yo are just two of the most biggest proven guns there that you need. Sua Wong, I believe, he had an all right game today, got 30-ish points at 13. They got absolutely destroyed, so wasn't a very good game for them. But if he can start at 13 and get that dual position, I think he'll look really good. And he's predicted to start at 13 there. Lost a little bit of interest in Kalmar, but not a lot of edges that are tickling my fancy right now. I mean, at that price, starting edge, if he can play 60 to 80 minutes, I think Kalmar's one that you have to go with almost. Cleary, I think he's set and forget. Jamal Fogarty, my pod for round one this year. I think I want a gun half, just settle that position there. And yeah, I want another gun, but I didn't really like any of the gun edges. I didn't really want to go two gun wing fullbacks, and there was no other guns that really tickled my fancy. So I decided to go with Jamal, who is someone I think is going to have a really, really good year. And high base, does all the kicking, good defensive goal kicks, can score some attacking stats. So yeah, I think Jamal could average anywhere from 55 up to 65. We saw what he could do last year there. Robert Toy,
Yeah.
pretty good season.
Um, before you go, do you reckon Kelma Tuilagi will actually start? Because I personally don't think he will.
Yeah, I don't know if he does. I'll look at him a lot more than I am. He's kind of there as a spot filler, but he definitely could start considering who would they really start over him? Because I think Sean Lane's
Yeah,
injured, isn't
yeah.
he?
It'll probably be, yeah, I reckon it'll be Sean Lane at 11 and Tuilagi at 12.
Yeah.
And probably Cartwright on the bench at 15, Grieg 16, and Madison 17. My only problem is those are three edges who, well, Madison being mid-edge, but three edges who could potentially and will take his minutes.
Well,
So I can't see him.
Lane's played
What's
for the
that?
field before. Lane has played a prop in that before, and Cartwright can play 13 too. So he probably won't get 80, Kelmer, but
Yeah,
he might get 60.
Cartwright probably won't play 13 over Hopgood. That's the thing, because
Yeah,
Hopgood should be fit for round one.
but I don't think Hopkins will play
So
18. Will play 80.
yeah, but even still, he'll probably play 65. And you just hope that Tuolungi gets the minutes. Anything over 55 or 60, you definitely take. If you can get that, he's a must-have because he can absolutely burst over the line for a try. He's seen it in the trial games. But TLT, if it's confirmed him starting, I'm gonna get him in my team immediately. So continue, Will. Sorry.
So you look at that Jamal Fogarty bringing. Would you look at keeping him there just to solidify the half position, or would you look at bringing in a gun center and solidify that center position with Jack Bird's role a little bit unknown if he's going to start or not? And if I'm not happy with Kelmer, I could move Jack up to the edge and then have a gun center there.
You did send me a team earlier in the day, and I did think your centers and edges were lacking just a little bit. What I'd probably do, I'd probably move Metcalf for Fogarty, downgrade Fogarty to a mid-range player or even a cheapie, and then you got so much cash to play around. You could go maybe you can get rid of Kalmar and get a gun edge in like maybe even Hamole. You could get Hamole, Bateman, Isaiah Papali'i, and then you'd still have money to maybe upgrade even a Hetherington or uh maybe even Aaron Clark to a gun player. Like I think you just overspent in your halves. That's my only problem.
Do keep in mind, Safe will get the edge duel, which he should be a gun at the edge position.
Yeah, he should be. Yeah, we spoke about him in our pods video. I'm so keen on Safe Off.
any interest in Hopgood at all? So if I could go, could I have enough money to go Fogarty straight up to Hopgood?
Mm, I'm personally not interested in Hopgood. I think what's he? He's not highly owned. Um,
2.8%.
yeah, I think Casual Athlete has Hopgood. Um, he should be fit for round one, which is great if he can be. But I just feel like that injury will be lingering a little bit. Um, that's my only problem. Jacob Preston, I'm a big fan of Dylan Lucas, played very well today. Jacob Preston also played very well. Uh, yeah, Jacob Preston or Dylan Lucas are who I'd probably upgrade to if I was had to pick an edge.
Yeah.
But
Oh, but then
yeah,
continuing
moving
on,
on.
Ponga, he looked pretty good today. Scored a try. I think
He
he's
looked
just one that
great
you set
today.
and forget.
Yeah,
AJ Brimson,
you
I
got.
saw that I spoke you into him fresh off a double on the weekend. Is there any interest in AJ?
I actually have AJ, and I'm a big fan of him. He played exceptionally in the trial game he had today or yesterday or something. Think 65 points or 61 or something around in the 60s. Played so good. I was so happy for him. Should lock in and Kieran Foran tearing his bicep. It's great for Brimson. Means he won't have any major competition or any forcing out of the side. So I'm so hot on Brimson. 482K. There's a lot of value to be made.
Yeah, so with my team here, considering Brimson can play as half, would you be interested for me to go a Fogarty down to a gun wing fullback and then have Ponga, Brimson, Ongi, and like a Edwards, for example, or a Turbo or a Garrick instead of having a Fogarty up there? Or do you think one gun wing fullback is enough?
I probably think one gun wing fullback is enough. I've stacked my team's a bit different to yours. I've stacked my mids and edges, and I've got a decent center as well. But you've already got Ponga, man. Like you don't have to overspend on your wing fullbacks. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, Garrick isn't really a gun. Well, he is a gun, but he's not priced as a gun. He's 580K, which is I'd consider mid-tier. So you could very well go to him. I've got Garrick. I'm very hot on Garrick. Even though he had a bit of a lackluster trial game, he's a 583K center wing fullback dual on goal kicking and a great player, obviously. That's why I'm so keen on him.
Yeah, definitely. And Iongi looked really good in the trials. I think he's one that's he's got to
He
have.
was one of my favorites this weekend. He was great.
Yeah. And then
Amazing.
going on going onto the bench, pretty strong bench here. Connor Watson to 663K. Yeah, really good option here, Connor. I believe he is. I will get that hooker duel, probably should score well. I think he's one that should be in most teams. And I think him and Aaron are kind of in the same breed there, both the same player pretty much when they play at lock. Uh, I also believe that they're going to have the same duel, just Aaron is about 200K cheaper. So if Aaron can get a big minutes at lock, which he's predicted to get on the NRL Instagram page over Dylan Walker, is there any interest in Aaron at all?
If you can get the spot over Dylan Walker, I would be interested in him over a Mamazulis maybe, or maybe both. But I don't know if he does get the position. I think Aaron Clark will play 14 or 15. That's why I'm not keen on him. But time will tell. TLT Tuesday will tell us everything, and we'll be scrambling to make our teams. But just on Connor Watson, after the Roosters got absolutely pumped by the Knights. He was, I wouldn't say shining light, but he was one of their better players, making about 35 tackles with zero misses. So that's really good signs in a team that's getting absolutely pumped. So hopefully he can keep that form up. And if he does, I could see him making upwards of 45 tackles a game. So hopefully he can continue that.
Completely off topic. I've got two players here. What are your thoughts on Tallis Duncan and Greg Marzou?
Greg Marzoo, someone was asking me about Greg Marzoo. I'm not keen on Greg Marzoo just because I think he's way too up and down. We saw him 2 years ago do really well, and then last year do absolutely nothing. But hopefully he can find some consistent form. My only problem is he's so up and down. He'll score 50 one game, 20 the next, and then go on a run of 20 to 30 and maybe the occasional 60. That's my only problem with um, Marzu, and Tallis Duncan, very keen on him. Hopefully, he can lock in that 13 spot, even though he played 12 in the trial game. Um, yeah, if he can, as I said before, TLT Tuesday will be a great insight. But if he can play 13, he should be in everyone's team.
Yeah, well, only the split team list this week, so you got the two that come out. But yeah, continuing
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
Alex Seyfarth, someone I'm really interested in. I think he'll do well. I mean, we see what he did for a good Tigers team. Is was captain of the team. We've already spoken about him a lot. Alex is some that I'm surprised he's only owned by 6% of people. Um,
yeah,
yeah, Luke Metcalf, 30% of people own him. I think that should be higher. 441K for a player with that running game, who goal kicks and also kicks and play is incredible. His running game's as good as Luai's, or even better. He's very quick. Goal kicks too. I think Luke Metcalf, if he can have a
yeah.
good year and hold down the spot, he could get up to 600, 650K.
Mm. I reckon he'll play seven over Tamara Martin now. I reckon they'll do a switch, Martin six and Metcalf seven, which is obviously even better for him.
Yeah, definitely. And then Sandon Smith didn't play amazingly at all today. They got destroyed. Let's just hope it's a bad game for the Roosters and he comes back, because I think a starting six on a premiership threat team, as they should be, is just too much to pass up early on.
Yeah, yeah,
And then,
I agree. Fully
yeah,
agree.
one that I've lost complete interest in is Royce Hunt. Didn't play many minutes at all in the trials. Didn't look good. The only reason I'm holding him now is because David Clemmer has asked for immediate release to the Dragons, which means that
Mm.
Royce Hunt could get into that starting side. Do you think that Royce is one that you look to sell, or is there another cash cow that came out of the trials that looked good?
There's definitely heaps of cash cows that came out of the trials. One I'm particularly interested in is Tom Duffy. No, yeah, Tom Duffy played absolutely amazingly. One of the shining lights of the Cowboys, looked really impressive. 250K as well. If Clemmer obviously leaves to the Dragons, then Royce is probably a keep if he gets the starting role. But if you want the extra 25K cash, um, Duffy looked amazing. Hopefully he can get the seven over Clifford, which he may not. Clifford might get back for round one, but look, we hope he gets the start, Duffy, for fantasy wise. If he does, he should be in everyone's team.
Yeah, I do think it'll be hard with the split team list this week, but I think it's just
Mm.
not. I don't have many Panthers players or many Vegas players at all, so I don't know if you do at all. But I think the important part is you see how I've got Fogarty as my vice captains, because if I vice captain, for example, someone like Kobe Heffrington, who then doesn't end up starting, and then the team list come out, and he's already locked in that position because he's my vice captain. But because I know
Yeah,
that
yeah,
Jamal's got the first game with the split team list, I know that I can rely. All right, Jamal's going to be locked there, but he's going to be locked either way. So if I
mm,
do end up selling Jamal, it'll just be one of these. It'll just be these two that are my captain and vice captain between Yo and Cleary.
yeah.
Yeah, last two players, Mark Nowakowski, and he came up with a cramp injury, and yeah, any interest in Mark?
Mm. I've lost a bit of interest in him. I had him and then got rid of him for Robert Toyer actually because 120K cheaper and should lock in that center spot for the Roosters. I just went Mark to Toya, if I'm honest, so I don't actually own Mark anymore. That's what I've done.
Yeah, and then the last one, if he gets the spot, Casey McLean, I think should be in most
Yeah,
people's teams here, and it's pretty self-explanatory.
Jesse McLean.
Jesse, sorry, not Casey.
Yeah, Casey's brother. Casey's brother, who's actually competing the spot against, which is ironic.
Crazy, crazy. But that
Anyway,
wraps up my team. Is a quick question. If I was to go hunt down to Duffy, then Fogarty up to a player, very interesting pod player. How did he look in the trials? This guy,
yeah, yeah, good. I'm just still not too keen on him, man.
he's been a proven gun for many
Look,
years.
yeah, he has. I just don't like having 780K sitting on my bench, and he's not going to play for round one. I'd prob If I was to pick him up, I'm gonna pick him up round three. Let him have the bye. Let him ease into round two, and then get him round three, depending on how well he does in round two. So I'm not keen on him at the moment, but come 2 or 3 weeks, depending on how he goes, is how keen I'll be. I'll be.
Well, any interest in this man at all then?
No, not Crichton either. Gunn played. He played okay today. Wasn't the best. Wasn't the worst. In a Rooster side that got pumped, he was probably one of their better players. But look, I just think there's better valued players in the edge spot. So I'll show you what I got in my team.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Okay, this is my team here. Similar but different to Will's. We both got up top Peter Mamazoulis after the injury to Lewis Dodd, who should be out for maybe 1 or 2 weeks. Humphrey should slot into the 11 spot, who was very impressive today. And Mamazula should have less competition in the 9 spot since Humphreys was probably going to take his minutes slot in the 9. So not much to be said there. Three mids. I've stacked my mids. I've got Yo, May, and Watson, who you also had, Will. But Yo, I think he's a must-have in my eyes. Absolute gun. Will average 63 consistently, won't miss a game. We've spoken about him heaps. Terrell May, I think just about 50% of people own him. If you don't own Terrell May, I don't know what's wrong with you.
40.
Um, yeah, well, 40%, same thing. Um, yeah, Terrell May, absolute gun. Connor Watson, same thing. We'll get hooker mid duel, 663K. Didn't miss a tackle today out of about 35. Very impressed with him in a side. They got absolutely demolished. He was one of their better players, as I've mentioned. Two edges. I've gone Bateman from the Cowboys and Jack Bird, who most people have. Bateman, I'm very hot on him. 595K for a guy who could easily be 750K. Very keen on Bateman. Will get that 11 or 12 spot for the Cowboys with Lukey tearing his ACL. He'll be out. He'll be gone for the whole season, really. And Jack Bird, no brainer, really. 362K. Hopefully, can lock in that lock spot for the Tigers. That'd be detrimental for him. That'd be great. Two halves, Cleary and Metcalf. Most people own them. Not too much to be said. Cleary just gonna chuck the captaincy on him, as most people will. Metcalf spoke about before, should play 7 for the Warriors. 441K for a guy that facilitates the attack, goal kicks, and just has a great running game. Very keen on him. And two centers. I've got Robert Toya, who I did a straight switch for Mark Noah Quanatawaze. And I've got Bradman Best, who I thought was pretty good in the trial today. Had a nice line break try or try assist or line break in general. He played pretty well. Do you have any interest in Bradman at all?
Yeah, Edmonds one. It's a bit hit and miss, and we've spoken about him with his up and down nature. But I mean, he's a very good player, and yeah, for someone that can do what he can do, if he goes down that strong left edge of theirs, with that being Ponga's dominant side, he could very much give us 700K again. I just don't like centers playing at center in my fantasy team. Up the edges and halves if I can get them. So, which is why I don't have any interest in Bradman, but could definitely be one of the better centers to pick up this year. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah, I reckon we've seen him reach prices of about 710K. Hopefully he can do that again. His stats today, a try assist, 10 runs for 130 meters, 40 post contact meters, a tackle bust, a line break, and two line break assists. That is really good numbers for him. And if he can continue that in season, maybe snag a try, he could easily see scores of upwards of 50. So that's why I'm so keen on him. And as you know, he did get two 100-point scores last year. So that's got to be playing in the back of your head of what he can do. Three wing fullbacks. I've gone Garrick, who explained just before on Will's team, 583K, centre wing fullback, on goal kicking, and in a Manly side who I reckon will do pretty well this year, even after their lackluster trial game. I can see him coming top 5 or top 6 maybe. And Iongi, no brainer, impressed in the trials. And Fletcher Sharp, who is an absolute mega pod, about 1.6 maybe, 1.5% owned. Um, I thought he was really good today in the trial. Scored, yeah, two tries for a six. That's ridiculous. Um, three of the stats, two tries, and line break assists with 11 tackles and 123 running meters, which is great for a six. Alongside Ponga as well, always helps. I'm so keen on him. Do you have any interest in Fletcher Sharp?
Yeah, I mean, very good running game, Fletcher. The only thing is he might not kick as much with Cogger being there or Hastings if they go with, and that. But I mean, it should see his base stats improve, making tackles and that. So if he can get a base of 30 and get a couple of tackling stats, he could be very close to 40 to 45, 50 average player, and which gives him a fair bit of value there at 550k. We all know what he can do. Last year he was absolutely electric. So yeah, there is a little bit of interest in Fletcher, but one that I'm not starting with right now.
Yeah, okay. That's fair enough. I just went for a pod because if he pays off, I'm going to be shooting up the ranks. So he looked electric today. He's quick footwork, good ball playing. He's a great player.
Just quickly,
Three
how
bench
did
spots.
how did one of our
What's that?
pods, Toby Couchman, play today?
I actually didn't look. I didn't watch the Dragons game. I was actually busy for that. I had cricket, so I didn't actually watch, but I could do a quick check anyway. Four bench spot. I've got Tallis Duncan, who you mentioned before, just pending he gets the lock spot would be great for him. Mid 451k. I've got Seyfarth, who we also talked about in our pod video, still 6% owned, which he should be about 15 to 20, I reckon. And a bit of a filler here, filler sort of not. Blaze Talangi, who you're not keen on, six for Penrith, hopefully. It's either him or Jack Cole. Hopefully it's Talangi. But if it's not Talangi, I'll obviously get rid of him. And then I've got Brimson in the interchange four as a looping option. Very keen on Brimson. We explained it before. Um, you're not hot on Blaze Talangi at all?
Nah, I just no, no. First of all, I don't think he's going to get a spot. I think they'll go with Jack Cole over him, but I also think he
Mm.
can miss too many tackles there and won't really run the show with Cleary being the dominant half and doing most of the kicking there, which means he has to rely on a lot of attacking stats to get his scores, which is how Luai got most of his scores. And with him being a right foot kicker too, they don't have one. They don't have the left and right, so he might not even kick as much as Luai either. But yeah, somewhat not really interested in him at all.
Yeah, fair enough. It's a bit of a risky one, as we'll wait for confirmation on if he gets the sixth spot. But if he doesn't and Cole gets the spot, I'll probably just go Talangi to Cole, to be honest, and then use the extra 200k to upgrade Mamazulis or Toya or something along the lines. Um, Last two looping options, I've got Sandon Smith and Royce Hunt, which I actually need to change because I'm gonna probably most likely put Duffy in there as well. Duffy and Sandon maybe, or Duffy and McLean or something like that. But at the moment, I've got Sandon Smith and Royce Hunt as Sandon plays first and then Royce plays second. So Sandon will. If I don't like Sandon's score, I'll just swap Royce Hunt for Brimson, simple as. And then the last two spots, I've got Duffy and McLean, Jesse McLean, who you also had. Duffy really impressed for me in the trial game today. As a Cowboys fan, he was definitely our standout player, and him and Drinkwater played very well today. And Jesse McLean, hopefully he can edge that spot over his brother Casey. 250k for a winger for Penrith would be very handy as they love to score meat pies over there. So that's my team. Any thoughts on it, Will, of what you do?
Nah, it looks pretty solid. I would maybe look at a downgrade in the Garrick Sharp. Maybe not both of them, but one of them to bring in Ponga, as I think he's going to go on absolute tear this year. A gun kicking wing fullback option, and I think that if Sharp doesn't come off, then it could very easily go down. But I think you having Sharp and not having Ponga, it's going to be a really tough watch for you there. But yeah, other than that,
I don't know.
looks
I don't know.
looks pretty nice. Yeah, Duncan will be interesting to see if he gets the spot there, which hopefully he does. He should be a pretty good option if he does. Yeah, best comes with some risk there, but I mean it's all yours to go with. And yeah, I've already told you I don't really like Blaze Talangi at all.
Yeah, he's probably a little bit of a fill-in. I just didn't really like too many options around that 420 to 450k price. maybe Kelma Tuolungi. I'll probably downgrade him now that he might get the 11 or 12 role. I'll probably go Kelma over Blaze. And then, look, I could try get Ponga, but I've got three good wing fullbacks already in Garrick, Iongi, and Sharp. I don't know if I really need him. I've already got two Knights players as it is. I'm just worried if I have three and the Knights get hammered one game, then I'm going to be hurting because three of my Knights players haven't scored well. That's my only problem.
Yeah, I guess that is true enough, and it's quite hard on that edge with it'll probably be Sharp, Ponga, and Best. So if that edge gets shut down, then you're in all sorts.
Yeah, that's why I'm a bit. I could maybe. I do want Best in my team as a mid gun. He's probably no mid tier center. He's probably my favorite option in that price range. Sharp, if I had to get rid of one, Sharp's probably the man to go. But then what's the point of a pod really? But anyway, that's our teams, and that just about sums it up for tonight. Our team reveal 3 days out from TLT for Vegas. Any final comments, Will, before we wrap up?
Nah, just yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, thanks for all the support. Um, join the giveaway we got on our Instagram, first pin post on our profile. Yeah, thanks for the support on Instagram and YouTube. We're going to keep pumping out content and keen for NRL next week. Catch you later, fellas.
Bye.